Today we are beginning a new unit on handwriting analysis, forgery, and counterfeiting. Welcome to part 1. So in today's lesson we'll discuss how handwriting analysis is conducted and how it played a role in a very famous case. Handwriting is unique to each person. So for question 1, based on your previous knowledge, what type of evidence would handwriting be considered? You might want to pause and review the evidence types now. So you should recall, since it's unique to each person, handwriting analysis would be considered individual evidence like fingerprints and DNA. The process of document analysis is examining and comparing question documents with known material. So this document expert would establish whether a document is authentic by looking at certain aspects of a document, which we'll talk about. So question document is any signature, handwriting, typewriting, or any other mark whose source or authenticity is disputed or uncertain. So when you look at the pictures on the left, you can see that the date's been changed on a particular document. This might not be evident with the naked eye, but the expert could figure this out. So a document expert analyzes handwriting and other features in a document. This is established as a scientific practice admissible in court. A graphologist is different. A graphologist studies the personality of the writer based on handwriting samples. It's really considered by most people a pseudoscience. One website I looked up claims that failing to cross your T all the way means you're a procrastinator, and crossing it high on the stem means you set high goals, while lower on the stem means you need to dream bigger. This seems a little bit simplistic, although some people do think that it might be useful in an investigation to indicate the personality type of the writer. So a couple of historical points in handwriting analysis. It played a role in the famous Lindbergh case, which we'll talk about. Also, the appellate court upheld it as a form of expert testimony and reiterated that scientific guidelines must be followed. Many law enforcement agencies, Scotland Yard, FBI, and Secret Service all use handwriting analysis. So the document expert examines handwriting, computer printouts, any kind of commercial printing, whether it's on products. Counterfeit products often have counterfeit labels, and sometimes the counterfeit product they can find out not by necessarily analyzing the product, but by analyzing the packaging as well. Any paper and ink threatening notes. So question documents need to be compared to something. That's called an exemplar, which is a standard document of known origin. 2 phases of handwriting analysis: looking at the stuff that was used, whether it's ink, paper, pens, etc. Visual examination of handwriting to determine if 2 writings came from the same person. So there are 12 characteristics of handwriting exemplars that experts look at, and these 12 characteristics fall into 3 basic categories: letter form, line form, or formatting. So letter form, as is suggested, how you write your letters. Are they pointy? Are they curved? Do you dot your I's? Do you cross your T's? Line form, how you write the lines. Do you write shaky? Do you write smooth? Sometimes shaky writing indicates you might be trying to forge. Formatting, just like formatting on a Google Doc, the spacing between letters in a word, spacing between words, and spacing between lines, and where you put your margins. So a couple examples of letter form. Look at all the different letter A's that people can write, different places that they cross their T's. So according to graphologists, the person on the left is ambitious while the person on the right is not. Based on how they cross their T's, I don't know, seems not very scientific to me. This slide illustrates line form, smooth lines versus shaky lines. This slide illustrates connected and non-connected letters and excessive spacing between the lines on a page. Everybody exhibits natural variation in the way they write. Can be due to mood, age, whether you're in a hurry, what you write with. But despite these minor variations, each person has a unique writing style, and we can certainly see that these 4 signatures are from the same person, but they demonstrate some natural variation. So it can be determined that 2 writings came from the same person if they have unique similarities and no unexplainable differences are found. So in the Lindbergh kidnapping case, handwriting analysis played a role. Charles Lindbergh was a very famous American aviator. At the age of 25 in 1927, he gained instantaneous world fame by making the first solo transatlantic flight from New York to Paris. He's credited with many advances in aviation. He also became an inventor. He was Time Magazine's Man of the Year. He's credited with developing the first heart-lung machine. So maybe this guy crossed his T's on top of the stem. Who knows? And then he married a woman named Anne Morrow. Anne Morrow was the daughter of Dwight Morrow, who was a very wealthy ambassador, politician, and businessman. Dwight Morrow High School is named after him. So they had a lot of money, a lot of fame. Their baby was kidnapped March 1st, 1932 from their home in Hopewell, New Jersey. The nurse found the ransom note on the windowsill, and there was also a wooden ladder left behind. Here's the ladder. This was constructed by the person that kidnapped the baby. So here's the wanted poster. So a second ransom note was found on March 6th, a third one on March 8th. There were several more notes that were written to a person who acted as a go-between. And finally, $50,000 ransom was paid on April 2nd. And the baby was never returned, and the baby's body was found in a wooded area less than 5 miles from the house on May 12th. The serial numbers of the ransom money were given to banks, and the money was eventually tracked to a man named Bruno Richard Hauptmann. He was an immigrant who had a criminal record back in Germany. So when he was arrested, he was carrying some of the money, and then when his home was searched, they found over $14,000 of it in his own home. In addition, there was wood in his attic that was a match to a ladder at the scene, the ladder that was found at the crime scene. There were actually planks of wood missing from his attic that matched the ladder. So handwriting experts pointed out similarities between the ransom notes and the handwriting specimens from Hauptmann. He was convicted, and he was sentenced to death. A lot of people questioned his guilt, and there's all kinds of conspiracy theories surrounding this case. I'm not quite sure why. I've never really looked into any of that. But it seems like there was a lot of evidence to convict him. This is the known signature on the top. This was a composite signature taking individual letters from the ransom notes. So this is the end of part 1. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me, and have a nice day.